Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you're new here, welcome in, and if you've been here before, smash the like button on the way in. I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny, and today I'm excited because I am talking about not one but two small batch knives that are, well, they're very, very expensive, and for that reason, these are loaners from my buddy Knife Dope. Big shout out and thank you to Jason from Knife Dope for loaning these to me. No, I do not get to keep these. These are not mine. Honestly, it's hard to get your hands on both of these because at this moment in time, neither of them are available. Now, he didn't send them in the manufacturer packaging. That's why I have this nondescript case here. Let's go ahead and start off with the first one. This is a knife from a company that I have never had on my review table before. This is a small batch knife from a little known company called CKF, or you might know them better as Custom Knife Factory. This is the CKF Gnome. Front flipper only, baby. Yeah, the CKF Gnome coming in at $510 when they're available, which they do become available every now and then. I want to say the last release was 9-10 months ago. Yeah, almost a year ago, and that's when Knife Dope picked this one up. He knows that I've never checked out a CKF knife on my channel, and I got to be honest with you, the reason for that is the barrier of price. But more importantly, at the $500+ price range, I'm usually looking at an American made knife. And some people might not know this, or maybe you do, or you just have a differing opinion. Just let me know in the comments section. CKF is a Russian company. Recently, it's come to light that the parts come from China. So I believe the way that it works, and I could be mistaken, but I believe the way that it works is the parts are made in China and then shipped to Russia. And then there's some refining done at the CKF factory. There have been a whole lot of discussions about CKF as a company and how they go about business. And there's honestly a bit of mystery. I don't know if anything's been confirmed for real, but at least we know that not everything is made in Russia. At least it's assembled there. Now, whatever your feelings are on that, the question that I aim to answer today is, well, is it worth it? $510 is a lot of money, but no matter where it's made, good knives are made everywhere around the world, and we find a way to appreciate them nonetheless. The CKF Gnome is a almost full-sized knife, comes in at 7.8 inches overall with a 3.5-inch blade made entirely of M390. On this blade itself, I think you would probably call that either a clip point or a drop point, or somewhere between a drop point and a straight back. I'm not sure. We've got some really beautiful satin flats here. Those are machine satin flats with glass blasted on the main. That's beautiful, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. On the spine of the blade, we're looking at jimping in not one but two spots, and I actually really appreciate that because normally speaking, when we get jimping on a knife, we only see it back here, if at all, and nothing on the swedge. But they took it the extra mile and they put jimping here on the swedge of the blade so that you could get a more controlled grip. Now, a lot of people might be looking at this like, no way, that's a safe queen. That's a safe queen. Don't you dare open Amazon boxes with that CKF Gnome that costs, a car payment. I would personally carry this. My understanding is that Knife Dope does not. These are technically contoured handle scales, but how they get to the contouring, in my opinion, I'm not necessarily sure if I would classify it as that, because I believe what they did was they started with a slab style construction and then they chamfered the edges and then kind of ground over the edges of the chamfer to give it that contoured look. But I guess it doesn't really matter how you get there as long as you get there. Contoured handle scales are comfortable, and this one is absolutely no different. Absolutely feels great in the hand, especially with this 3D milled Zircotai pocket clip. It looks great. The thing about Zircotai is that it's always different. No two Zircotai parts of any kind have the same pattern. at all. It is a frame lock. We're looking at lockup here, somewhere around the realm of, I would call that 45%. And yeah, I mean, no doubt that is a solid lockup and lockout. Blade centering on here is perfect. Very nice. Something that I noticed early on was the machining quality. I'm going to try to zoom in so that you can see that better. I want you to take a look at the machining quality here, because that's kind of like a stone washed, milled handle scale. And you can't really see it, but if you look really close with a magnifying glass, you can see the finest of finest machining lines on the non-milled parts. And it's really crazy to me how in-depth they get on that look. And if you got tired of me talking about a Russian knife partially made in China, here's an American-made knife as a palate cleanser. This is the McNees Performance Machined PM Mac 2 3-inch. Yeah, it's the small guy, the little guy. And while the bigger versions of this knife are available, this one is not. I tried looking it up and I could not find this knife anywhere. Nowhere. Gonzo are these, and I don't necessarily know why, because I know that a lot of people actually do like the smaller versions of knives. Now, this is not the full-size version at all. The McNees Performance Machined Mac 2 3-inch, and oh my goodness, is that a mouthful, is 6.5 inches long. 6.5 inch. It's just a little guy. Just a little guy. But I'll tell you what, I can actually still get a full 4-finger grip. Now, this one is not a Safe Queen. This one is 100% a user, and you could tell Jason puts this one to work, baby. This is an American-made knife built for the man who wants performance cutlery and a knife that will stand the test of time. Something that bothers me whenever I show an American-made knife that's in this realm, and by the way, this costs $467. For this kind of money, a lot of people are like, well, I could just buy a $30 blah, blah, blah. What about my Ozark Trail? Blah, blah, blah. You know, like, yeah. Listen, guys, if you don't see the value in spending more than $50 on a knife, chances are you're not the person that this was intended for. You see, Jonathan McNees, he designed these knives to be a lifetime companion. Think about the value of something, whether it costs $50 or $100 or $500. If it lasts you a lifetime and it's a user tool that gets the job done for 20, 30, 40 years, then I would say that it was worth it. When you break it up into that time span and you think about all the different use case scenarios for it, you know, whether that be work or self-defense or whatever, it just makes more sense. You know, go buy a $5, $10, $15 Ozark Trail 100 million times, or buy one of these once. What would you rather have? And when you get a McNees, you get a knife that is 100% made in the United States. Now, specifically on this one, I know that not all of the parts and machining has been done in-house at the McNees factory, but I know that their dedication to fully American made is real. So if you're someone out there that's tired of seeing made in China, or maybe you didn't like the last knife that I showed because it was a Chinese-Russian connection, if you just want something that makes it feel like you are supporting a skilled American knife maker, the McNees lineup is definitely a good way to go. Now the question is, at this price point, is it worth it? Because 6.5 inches, 3-inch Magna Cut blade, handle scales are titanium, frame lock, and that frame lock is going to be coming in, right there about 45%. How's the quality of life? It's good, baby. Quality of life is great. Perfect lockup, perfect blade centering. Now, I can't talk about the pocket clip at all because this is an aftermarket pocket clip, and I get it, because this is a user knife, and the stock pocket clip is not going to be as utilitarian as this. I think this is an MXG deep carry clip. The stock clip is a spoon type stamped clip of matching ano. That's totally fine. Totally fine. As a user knife, I get it. This is not fresh out of the box. It's not a spring chicken. This has been put to work. At the price point of $467, we have to ask the question of, is it worth it when you compare it against other knives in this price range that are American-made knives? And so I've got a couple examples here. This is one of my favorite knives that I picked up all last year. This is the Hinderer XM18 3-inch. Now, this is also a 3-inch knife, but this one is going to be a bit longer than the McNees Mac 2. Quite a bit longer, actually. It's crazy, right? They have the same length blade. Check that out. But you'll notice that the XM18 has longer handle scales. Okay, so this one's going to be technically more carry friendly in the pocket, but with the downside of less handle size. And for some people who have the absolute meat cleaver sized hands, that's going to be a no-go. This one also did not come with full titanium scales. I had to add on this horsehead milled titanium scale. So, with that full titanium add-on, it's a lot more expensive. The way that these Hinderers come out of the box is $425, and you get a titanium lock side and a G10 show side. So the question I have to ask is, from a material standpoint, this costs, what would we call, about $40 more than your Hinderer XM18 3-inch, and you get full titanium. This is rather impressive, the way that this is machined, all made in America. All the chamfering that's been done to knock down the corners of the handle scale feel great. I would say that it doesn't look like it's as impressive as something like a full titanium Hinderer XM18, but for the price tag that you get this at, it's very good. The understated design language is something that will just blow over many people's heads, but it works and it functions excellent. Look at the sawtooth jimping here on the spine of the blade. That is unapologetic. You need to bear down with gloves, no problem. It's got you. You need to do a reverse grip. You've got to, defend your Slurpee at the gas station. No problem. By the way, this has a geared titanium backspacer. So when we start comparing it to other American-made knives in this range, it starts to look really good. So all ramblings aside, I really do think that the 3-inch machined Mac 2 is actually a pretty good value for what you get. Nowadays, you can't find these. You can get the 3.5-inch versions, and those are going to be coming in somewhere around $550, and they're upscaled versions of this, of course. But you get premium materials like a hollow ground Magna Cut blade. You get full titanium build. You get a nice geared titanium backspacer and titanium pocket clip. There's just about one thing that I do not actually really like about this knife, and it's something that is tolerable, but some people might actually agree with me, and that's going to be these thumb studs. The thumb studs are okay. I prefer a thumb stud that's more along the lines of this guy right here. Give me some extra lines on there, some extra grip. I would say that if they were to change the pocket clip design, it might not look as good as it currently does, but it would function a hell of a lot better. As it stands, I find these thumb studs to be a little bit slick. Not a big deal. It's not like my thumb is, slipping off of them. It's just less comfortable because your thumb is pressing and moving around on those thumb studs more than they would if you were to actually have some extra milling lines on them in a tapered design like we see on a lot of other thumb studs. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, guys, because I'm curious. What do you think of the KCF Gnome and, of course, the McNees PM Mac 2 3-inch? Are either of these knives that you would actually search out for and potentially purchase on the secondary market? Or would you wait for a limited secondary drop where maybe a retailer would have these in stock? Because currently, it doesn't matter if you like them or not, you can't buy them from a retailer right now. But I am curious, are you thinking about it? Are these knives that are just way too expensive for whatever reason? Let's have that conversation in the comment section down below. Guys, if you watched the video and you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's about to pop up in the corner. But if you just want to watch some more awesome knife and EDC content, feel free to click on one of the videos that pops up next.